The Iliad by Homer, Book 3, Summary. So the two soldiers are they are marching towards each other, and they're about to begin fighting. The Trojans, while marching, they're making a lot of sound, while the Achaeans are relatively, they are silent. They're not making all that much of noise. And from among the Trojans, Alexandria, which is another name for Paris, he sort of comes forward. And on seeing him, Menelaus comes forward because Menelaus apparently has the most amount of grudge against him and the Trojans because it was personal for him. So Menelaus comes forward, but on seeing Menelaus, Paris kind of gets frightened and he goes back into the Trojan ranks, where he's met by Hector. And Hector rebukes Paris. He says that is it not for you that all the Trojans and their allies are going through all of this trouble, and now you can't even face him? So you're so good looking and you're so beautiful to look at, and you have such lovely locks and stuff. But what's the point of any of that? And to which Paris says that yes, Hector, your rebuke is just, but do not demean the gifts that the gods have given me, because I too have the gods on my side, right? And if this be the case, I will fight Menelaus and let the winner take Helen and all her wealth. And whoever loses just kind of agrees to the pact that whoever loses, if the Achaeans lose, they go back home and they don't trouble the Trojans anymore. If Paris loses, then he'll give up Helen and all her wealth. So Hector he declares it to his soldiers, and they stop. They stop marching. They halt. And on seeing that, Agamemnon also kind of understands that Hector wants to talk, and he also asks his army to stop. And they come to the space in between, and so they come to the pact. They say that these two are gonna fight. And Menelaus also agrees, but Menelaus also says that before the pact is gone, so there's going to be a sacrificial sort of a ceremony. And in that sacrificial ceremony, Menelaus said that I would like the presence of Priam, because Priam is the king and I would like his word, I would like the word from his mouth. So meanwhile, Iris goes to Helen and informs her in some disguise, and informs her that you should go out and see what's happening, like your two husbands are fighting and stuff. So Helen goes outside from her chamber and stuff like that. And on seeing her, there are normal Trojans, old people who are not taking part in the fight. They kind of discuss among themselves that she's so beautiful, she's so gorgeous to look at, and it's understandable why Paris kind of stole her away, but still, like, her beauty is not good enough for the kind of crisis they have been going through. So it's good that it'll be good if she goes away with the Achaeans. She goes to Priam, but Priam says that I don't blame you, my child. Whatever happens, the gods decide this. So please come and take a seat beside me. And he also asks, he also looks at different people. Priam looks at different people and asks Helen that who are all these. So he looks at Agamemnon, then Ulysses, and then Helen herself kind of laments about the fact that she can't find her own brothers. She says that she thinks that maybe they have not come to the fight because of the kind of shame that I have brought onto them, but they're actually dead. They're actually dead and buried in their own homeland, right? So then the pact kind of happens, and in that space, in that no man's land, Paris first says that whoever wins is going to take Helen and all her wealth. That's what the Trojans say, and on behalf of the Achaeans, Agamemnon says that yes, whoever wins takes Helen and all her wealth. But if the Trojans win, then they can keep Helen. But if Menelaus wins, then not only would they take Helen and all her wealth, but also the Trojans would have to pay fine for what they have done, and so that something like this is never repeated again. Okay, the battle starts and the sacrifice happens, and after that the battle starts. So initially, Paris throws a spear towards Menelaus, but it's not able to penetrate his shield, right? Menelaus in turn throws a shield, throws a spear, which Paris somehow dodges. And as soon as he dodges that, Menelaus is about to strike him with the sword, with his sword, with Menelaus' sword, but the sword shatters, it breaks into pieces because Paris is not gonna die like that, and it's, I mean, he truly does have the gods on his side. To which Menelaus gets very agitated and very frustrated, and he looks up and he curses Jove, and he said that you're very, very cunning. I've done everything, sacrifices, and done all kinds of right thing, but you still do not give me my vengeance, and you don't satiate my vengeance, basically. Um, so, but his sword breaks, and he kind of grabs Paris by. So they're wearing helmets, which has like that, like a horse made out of horsehair. If you watch Sparta, like 300 and stuff like that, I'm sure you've seen helmets of that sort. So he grabs Paris's helmet by that horsehair and starts dragging him, right? And the place where the helmet is kind of locked, that is made of oxhide, and that kind of chokes Paris like this, like he's being dragged, and it kind of chokes him. Now Venus comes. She breaks the oxide, and she carries Paris away from that battlefield to his own bed chamber, and then Menelaus just throws an empty helmet towards his soldiers. Now, after having been transported to his bed chamber, Venus goes to Helen and says that you should go to your room where Paris is waiting for you, and he kind of needs you. But Helen understands. Helen kind of realizes that this is a goddess, and she gets like she's mad about. Helen is mad at Venus, and she kind of rebukes her and says that what else do you want and stuff. And if you really love Paris so much, why don't you become his wife, and why don't you take care of him and stuff like that. And Venus then also gets aggravated, and she says very rude stuff, and she tells Helen that I would curse you and make sure people fight over, and like not good things. To which Helen gets frightened, and then she goes back to their bed chamber, where again she's kind of sarcastic. She speaks sarcastically to Paris, and she kind of taunts him, saying that didn't you used to say that I would fight Menelaus and I would vanquish him in battle, and I'm a better man and stuff like that. What happened to Paris? To which Paris says that yes, it's true that you shouldn't, don't talk to me like that. I mean, it is true that Menelaus has defeated me today, but any other day it could have been me. And like Paris says that I'm really, really attracted to you right now. I haven't been as attracted to you as much as when I first carried you away from Greece, or some other time that they had spent on some island. I was never this attracted to you. Like, I'm very, very attracted to you right now. Come, let's lie down. Let's make love. To which Helen agrees, and they kind of lie down together. And meanwhile, Menelaus sees that Paris is nowhere to be found, and even the Trojans can't find Paris, because even the Trojans don't really want Paris to hide, because they want the battle to end. But nobody can find him, because a god has carried him away. And Agamemnon declares that Menelaus is the winner, and now the Trojans should act accordingly. They should give up Helen and all her wealth, and also pay a fine. And that's where book 3 ends. All right. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. God bless us all. Love you. Good night.